Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and in this video, I will be showing you how you can create a form on Smartsheet. So to create a form, what you want to do is go over to the Home tab of Smartsheet over on this left-hand side. And then right here, we can click on Create New, and we are going to go ahead and create a new form. So we click into Form, and then in here, we can choose a name for this form. Now, in this example form that I am going to set up, I'm going to create an employee satisfaction survey. So in here, I'm just going to type in employee satisfaction survey, just like that. And then we can click on OK once that form has been named. And just like that, we will be taken over to the form right here. Now, if you are following along, just stay on this screen. I'm only going to back out to show you. But essentially what this is going to do is now we have created a new form. If I back out of here and click on save, what this has actually done is this has created a new sheet. So essentially what forms are is they are just sheets. And then we can go into forms right here, manage forms, and we can see the form that we just created. So what this means is any of the questions that we ask right here, so all of the questions that we ask on this survey, they will automatically be put in here on the column. So if I go into the survey, and let's say I asked for question 1, how satisfied are you at work? Then in the sheet that it automatically creates, it's going to set column 1 to are you satisfied at work? And then we will be able to see all of the answers that are given right here. So I hope that makes sense. And at any time when we are in the main data sheet, we just go to Forms, Manage Forms, and we can click into Forms and we can go ahead and edit this. So to actually go through and start building this form out, the first thing that we are going to touch on is this title right here. So by default, this is going to be what we titled the survey to. So I'm going to leave this as it is. And then for the description, I'm just going to say an employee survey to see how satisfied you are with your job and if there is anything that we can do to improve as a company. So we can enter the title and the description in right here. We can also change the format of this if you want to bold the text right here or italicize this or underline. So I'm actually going to italicize this. And then for the title, I'm going to go in and underline. If you do want to turn this off, then we can go down to do not show title and description. We can turn that on. And then although we can still see it here, if we go to save and we open the form, you'll see that we don't see the title. So let's just go back in, and I actually do want to have this on. And then now we can actually go down and start building this form out. So we click into the first field right here. And then over on the right hand side, the main control panel is going to open up, and this is where we can edit and create all of the fields. So the first thing that we are going to do is click into this pencil icon right here, and we can create a name or a question for this field. So the first thing that I'm going to ask is the name. I'm going to ask for their name, and then we can click on OK. And then in the label, I'm going to enter the exact same thing I entered right here. So we will say name. Awesome. And then for the help text, this is just going to drop a little bit of text underneath if you want to explain the question any further. So as this is a name, I'm going to leave this off. Then down here we have required and we have hidden. So if we require this, you will see that when we turn this on, we are going to be given an asterisk. And what this means is the person filling out this form has to enter this, otherwise they won't be able to submit the form. If we leave this as not required, then what the person could do is they could not answer the question, they could leave it blank, and they can still submit the survey. So as this is a name, this is very important. I'm going to require this. And then we have validation right here. So you can see we have number only, percentage, email, and phone, and then no validation. Now, what we can essentially do in this area is we can say that people can only enter certain things. So if I set this to email, for example, then what this would mean is somebody could only enter an email in here. It would have to have @something.com. If they tried to enter something else in here, it wouldn't get accepted. But as this is a name, then I'm going to set this to no validation. Then display as, we can set this to single line or multi-line text if we need some more information. But for name, I will leave this as single line text. Then we can go down to form field 2. And in here, I'm going to ask my employees which division they work in. So I'm going to go to form field 2. And in here, I'm going to change this and say which division do you work in? And then we can go down to field type. And in here, we can select from all of these different fields. So with this top one, the very top option that we have, this is called the primary field. So because this is the primary field, we actually can't go in here and change this to any other field type, but we can with all of the other ones. So if I just go back in and we select the field type, we can select like a date, we can select from a contact list, a checkbox, all of these different options. Now, for which division do you work in? I want to add this as a drop-down list, as I want to give the people filling out this form a certain amount of selections that they can have. So for the divisions, let's say at our company we have sales. Then we can click on enter. This is how we differentiate between the values. We can say marketing. Then we have HR. And then maybe we also have a support department, just like that. We can then click on OK. And if I just show you how this form is going to work so far by saving and then opening this form, you can see that people can come in here, they can enter their name, select the division that they work in, and that's all we have set up so far. This is just something kind of random that's already there. So with that in mind, let's actually go through and delete this. So to delete any of these sections, we just click on this trash can icon, and that is now going to be deleted. Now to add in a new field, we can go to any of these fields and click on this plus icon, and it will make a new field below. So if I wanted to enter a field between name and which division do you work in, then I would go to this plus icon right here. But I just want to continue this and add one underneath. So I'm going to click right here on plus, and then we can create a new field. So for this new field, we could maybe say something like, how satisfied are you with your job? And then for this, I'm once again going to select a drop-down list and give them a few different values that they can choose between. So we will say not satisfied, then we can say moderately satisfied. Then in the middle, we can just say, I should copy this because it makes it easier, satisfied. And then we can go for extremely satisfied. Perfect. And then we can add this in as well. So we now have that in. We can add another field right here. And as an example, I might go ahead and add in text and number. And in here, I'm going to say, please explain why you entered your previous answer. And then we can click on OK. And in here, I want to change this from a single line text to a multi-line text to give my employees some more room to work with and some more space to enter in this answer. What we can also do is rearrange these around. So as an example, if I was to enter a field here and say, when did you join the company? And we select a date right here and enter. Maybe I want to have this at the top. So if I do want to rearrange these, I can come over to this left-hand side and drag and drop these around to where I want this on the survey. Awesome. So we have that right there. So now my employees can come in, they can click on this calendar feature, and they can choose the date that they joined the company. So that is how we can go through. We can add in these different fields, and we can add all of the questions that we need to into this Smartsheet form. Now, once you have done all of that, once again, we will go ahead and save this. And what we can also do is go over to settings right here, and we can choose the settings and how this survey is going to look. So just to show you how this looks, let's just close both of these down. And if I open the form right now, the form is going to look like this. Alternatively, we can switch this to side by side. And if I save and open the form, it's going to look like this. So as you can see, the layout is different. And then plain is going to look like this if we open the form. In my opinion, this isn't the best, and I do prefer this one right here. So this is what I'm going to save this as. We can go side by side. We can then enter in the security, so whether the person is required to have a Smartsheet account in order to access this form. I'm going to leave this off. Whether they have to do like a captcha verification before they can submit. Then we have things like what should happen after the form is submitted. So we can go down and send the user to a link. We can reload the same form for another entry or display a confirmation message, and then we can type the confirmation message in right here. Then it's going to ask new submissions should appear on the bottom of the sheet or the top of the sheet. So just to show you this, if I go ahead and duplicate this and go into the sheet, you can see it's already auto-filled with the questions that I asked there. So this is awesome. But basically what this means, where it says new submissions should appear, is if we have this at the bottom of the sheet like it is, then this would be the first submission that was entered. Then we would have this submission, this submission. However, if we go for top of the sheet, well, what it is going to do is every new submission is going to be entered into line 1, and then all of the others will move down. I think it makes more sense to have these at the bottom, so I'm going to leave this as it is. And then right here, we can click on save. So just like that, we now have the questions added in here. We have the settings set up. So what we can now do is go over to share form on this right-hand side. And in here, we can email this form to people. So we go in and select who we want to send this form to. So what I would do is grab all of the emails for all of the employees in my company. Just as an example, I will enter one in right here, and then subject, employee satisfaction survey. We can type out a message right here. I'll just put hello. And then from here, we would just go ahead and click on send. Then if we go back over to the sheet, when people start filling this out, it's going to look like this. So we can see all of the questions. We can see the name is James, which division does he work in, when he joined the company, how satisfied he is with his job, and then his answer right here. So what we can do is if you ask like text-based questions like this, a lot of the time it's going to cut it off. And we could click in, but a better way to do this, if the text is going to overlap the cell, is we just click in here, and then we can go to wrap at the top. And as you can see, we can now see the entire answer. So that is how you can create a form on Smartsheet. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.